Everyone, what's going on? It's the Pocket Moggers here. Hope you're doing great today. With Super Saiyan 4 Goku from Daima being added to Dragon Ball FighterZ, the possibility of a new season's pass for the game has me excited. So I just wanted to run through some characters for a season pass that I'd like to see. So I'm not gonna follow what would be my agenda if this were just my project that I was designing myself. The Moggers is handed the keys to the castle and told to build the whole thing himself. It would be green, it would all be Namex, and it would be very boring for anybody else. I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to pick one character from each of the major anime adaptations of the Dragon Ball universe that exist. And then I'm going to pick a character that I believe Arc System Works and Bandai Namco will be releasing in place of who my hopeful would be. I'm serious, y'all. If I were in charge of this, you'd think it was Christmas up at Bandai Namco and Arc Sys because it would just be green all the time. Okay, so I told y'all I wasn't gonna pick only Namex, but I didn't say I wasn't gonna pick any at all. And the very first character you're gonna see is gonna be a Namek. Because for Dragon Ball, the OG anime, my choice would be Demon King Piccolo. Um, Demon King Piccolo has a lot of different skills that he could use that I think would be fun for a fighter's character. He could use his older, decrepit self to fight and use his minions, like Cymbal and Tambourine. We could even like give him Drum, just for fun to use so that he could fight people with his minions. He could get his youth restored and use all of his own techniques, in order to fight people. I brought up maybe him being able to hold one of your squad mates hostage, like Baby can possess your dead teammates and use them to fight. I think it'd be a fun idea if he could hold them hostage like he did Ten Shinhan. Or maybe they could put both of those together. Maybe Demon King Piccolo could start off as an older character, and if he gets all the Dragon Balls, he could wish for his youth to be restored and then kill Shenron, and you can't use the Dragon Balls for the rest of the match. Or maybe his level 3 just restores his youth and he becomes a whole new character from that. For his play style, something like well, not really like Golden Frieza, but something similar to it, where it powers him up and then changes his moves, something like that. I don't know for sure. But the point is, there are a lot of options that could be used, and I think he's a great choice for it. Now, having said that, realistically, I think if another Dragon Ball fighter were to get in there, that Tao would be the one that they would choose. His aura was incredible in OG Dragon Ball. Everybody who likes OG Dragon Ball likes Tao and the Tao Saga and all that happened there. He's got, again, just like with DKP, he's got a lot of unique techniques that he could use, or unique ways that his stuff could be presented. He could block attacks with his shoes. He could attack people with his tongue. He, of course, has the Dodon Ray and the trick with the grenade, which I'm sure would be his ultimate attack, like a false surrender sort of thing. He's got his ability to yeet stuff that he could use. Maybe he picks up his pillar and throws it at opponents. Right? There's a lot of cool things that Tao could do that other characters in this game don't. That I think would be a fun addition. And given his history, I think Tao is more than likely the Bandai Namco choice. But what do you guys think? So for DBZ, I'm frankly just shocked that this character hasn't made it in yet. But I want Mr. Satan, man. Why haven't they thrown Mr. Satan in? What's the big deal? What's the holdup? The whole premise of the game is, oh, we all got hit by these special rays that make us weaker, so now people like Krillin can fight Cell and stuff like that. So give Mr. Satan the get back. Let him have a revenge tour. Give him a story mode where he just clobbers Cell and Boo, and maybe even gets a little in on Beerus for threatening his daughter, and just like I don't know, man. Like this game is built for this character, and yet he's the only like major character from the Dragon Ball universe that I can think of that hasn't been in it in some shape or form. I mean, like, I like Videl. Please don't get me wrong. I do like Videl, but it's crazy that she's in before her dad is. Mr. Satan is like one of the hearts of the franchise, and I feel they really should get on that and throw him in. I'd love to see all of his goofy attacks, just coming the rolling megaton punch and the big old dynamite kick, right? And he hits them, and it actually like just hurts them, like clobbers the crap out of them. I think that'd be awesome. So if you're listening, BN Arxis, this is the next one to go for, in my opinion. Now, having said what I've said, I think that the actual choice they will go for is Raditz. Raditz is highly requested among both Dragon Ball and FighterZ fans. His connection to Goku, his greater opening of the Dragon Ball universe, oh, we're going to space now, was a big moment for the series. And Raditz's arrival really shifted to the complete focus on action and much less action comedy or adventure, things like that. I think that's a little too to Dragon Ball's overall detriment, but I do understand, especially for the big DBZ fans, why this is such a big move and what Raditz represents for them. But me personally, I don't really get it. It's not like Raditz had any particularly cool techniques compared to anybody else, or a unique trait that made him really stand out to me. I don't know. He's okay. He's like a solid like 8 out of 10 character for me. He's not bad by any means, but he's not great. You know. But I do see where people are coming from with the moves. With the catch the birdie move that he could use as a fun super. Obviously, Double Sunday and Saturday Crash are fun moves. I could even see him using his when he tricks Goku into thinking that he's gonna give up and stop. I could see him feigning surrender, a la Tao. Funny enough, and then your character like it's a level 3 or something where your character grabs his tail and then he says, "Oh, let me go! I promise I won't do anything bad." And then you let him go, and he just goes psych, and then just boom, right, get you. I don't know, something along those lines. I see the potential, even though it's not for me. But I do think that this would be where they would go next. And here's my deep cut here. I know plenty of people are gonna scoff or sneer or something when they see this one, and I understand why. But yeah, I want General Rildo in as the GT representative. Did he do anything? Not really. Is he that cool compared to other characters? Not really either. He didn't make much of an impression. There's not much to say about Rildo in the overall lore of Dragon Ball or his popularity as a character, but that's not really why I want him in. I want him in because I think he'd be a really unique character compared to other people here. His little squad of minions that he sends out at people, those androids that he has, I think they could be used like with Captain Ginyu, where he could attack with them before they attach to him and empower him and give him a boost. I think he could turn into his metal form too, maybe like again a Golden Frieza situation where his attacks get stronger. You could put them together too. I know that wasn't in universe how it happened, but you could make them combine and give all of those different traits together. He turns into the metal Rildo form, and then the minions beat up the person, and then they attach, and he's got this like super metal Rildo or something that does even more damage. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. But I think his metal beam is really where his character could shine. I think he could use it as his special, and he could either freeze people in place, or the beam could hit the floor and cause the part of the floor that it hits to become slippery or sticky or something like that, and then he could use that to his advantage. I just think that compared to the other characters that we have on this, well, for this list for GT, Rildo is the most unique and would be the one that would give us the most bang for our buck as a character, because he has different ways that he could do things. Okay, and for Dragon Ball GT, for their choice, I believe that they would pick Omega Shenron. I don't think anybody really thinks anybody else. Maybe Super 17, but truth be told, I doubt it. Omega was the most powerful villain of the franchise for nearly 20 years. He was the final villain of the franchise for a long time. The concept of the Shadow Dragons is such a unique and fun spin on the Dragon Balls that it really struck a chord with people, even if the execution left some to be desired. I think he could use the other Shadow Dragons as minions, just like Captain Ginyu does, or like I was talking about with Piccolo or General Rildo. I think that it would be fun if, when you play as Nova, Omega, or let's say you start off as Sin Shenron, maybe when you earn the Dragon Balls during the match, I think it'd be cool if Shenron was able to take them from you. Omega Shenron could just take the Dragon Balls being earned in the match for himself and use them to become Omega Shenron. Maybe his level 3 is locked behind him using that mechanic, just like I was talking about with King Piccolo earlier. I don't know. Something like that I think would be fun, would be a cool way to emphasize the strength and the characteristics of this character here. But what do you think? You think this would be their choice, or do you think somebody else in GT would make the cut? Yeah, and for Dragon Ball Super, I'm gonna pick copy Vegeta. We just don't have enough Vegetas and Gokus in the game. We don't have a purple Vegeta. That's nice. We could really use one of those. He's got all the moves, and love. What's there to really dislike, right? He's got the jelly look. Maybe the game could have a 4D experience where it gives you a jelly smell whenever you pick him as a character. We could do like the Daima Goku thing and just recycle a bunch of animations from bunch of different people, a bunch of different people, a bunch of different people. I mean, what's the problem here, guys? I think this is a great start. Really, we'll make him $30 too. That's swell. Okay, obviously I was kidding around. I would use Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 as a tag team, like 17 and 18. I know that's a little unoriginal, especially since both are androids that are siblings, but Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 don't really have enough unique attacks yet for me to think that they should be a separate character sort of situation. I think they work better as a team, but I think as a team, they are a really, really, really solid character choice. The effects that come from their attacks with their laser guns, their poses, Gamma 2 super unique and cool self destruct that he uses against people. There's enough there that I really think these two would add some personality and some more fun to the game, like the Ginyus do and Gotenks does. And Fat Boo even to an extent, and what I would want Mr. Satan to do if he got in. Just a little more fun, a little more enthusiasm to the whole thing. I think it'd be great personally, and I'd love to see them interact with Hedo's grandmom, quote unquote. Obviously, she's a robot modeled after her grandma, but still, or his grandma, but still, be cool. Maybe they would call her their grandma, right? But if I was a betting man, Orange Piccolo or Beast Gohan would be the ones that they would go for. Simple and effective. They're cool. They've got the aura. They've got the new techniques. They haven't been featured in a lot of video games. A more Piccolo-based Gohan would be a fun character since the Gohans that we have are more Goku-focused. They're the adult Gohans. It'd be cool to have a more traditional Gohan character. Um, I think it'd be cool if either one of them used their special beam cannon the way that base Piccolo does, and could charge it, and maybe not exactly the same with the after images, but something like it, so that the attack can just do bonkers damage when it's charged all the way. I think that'd be really cool. And I do see Piccolo as being a little more unique than Gohan. A, because I'm biased, but B, because Piccolo can grow to his giant form. He has the potential unleashed, the orange form and the giant form to pull from, and a couple of new moves that could go with it. So if I had to pick one of the two of them, me personally, I'd go for Piccolo, but ideally both could get in. I don't see why not, right? Okay, so for Dragon Ball Daima, my personal choice would be the Tamagamis. These characters were guardians of the Demon Realm Dragon Balls. Calling them characters is a bit of a stretch. They had very small little pieces of personality to them. That's about it. Again, like with General Rildo over in GT, I'm not picking these characters because I love these characters. I have no merchandise featuring these characters whatsoever. But I'm picking them because they're unique to Daima. Goma, I would also pick for that reason, but we have so many. I'm the big bad demon. Here I am, literally, now I am the big bad characters that I think we should go with some of the other antagonists of a series instead. And I think the Tamagamis could be used like the Ninja Turtles in Injustice 2, if anyone was willing to shill out all the money necessary to have that one happen for them. They are a 4-in-1 character. These would be 3-in-1 characters, and their attacks would have to have different proportions to them, operate a little differently, which is true of the turtles as well. But they all shared the same super attacks, and that would be what I would do with the Tamagamis, where all of the moves that they use are the same in terms of energy blasts and their supers, but I would have their physical attacks all be different. So yeah, that's my personal idea for Daima. Um, having said that, Ultra Vegeta 1, as he so lovingly called himself, feels like the more logical choice, the uh, shut up and take my money choice now that Super Saiyan 4 Goku has been picked. Um, Ultra Vegeta 1 did have a really cool Final Flash battle with Goma. That was pretty sick. So I think I'm okay with that choice, even though another Vegeta means another Vegeta, and we have so many Gokus and so many Vegetas now that I kind of wish we'd steer the ship away from that. But still, it's not that big a deal. It's a good choice. I do hope that if they go this route, they give Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta some of the moves of other incarnations of Vegetas that have been featured. I'd like to see like the Gamma Burst Flash from Super, or the it's called Atomic Blast in the Budokai games, but that move Majin Vegeta used to pierce Fat Boo, or maybe the Final Shine attack from GT. Give us a little more Vegeta than he shoots a bunch of energy blasts really quickly, and he has Big Bang and Final Flash. Please. So I mentioned that a Piccolo-based Gohan would be good because Gohan, particularly with his roots, isn't emphasized a lot in fighters. And if they didn't feel inclined to put Beast Gohan in, I think future Gohan as a movies or special representation would be a great way to scratch that itch without having to tie it into Super directly. A one-armed Gohan who fights primarily with kicks, and maybe he's got his energy shield that he uses in the movie, would be a cool and unique way to introduce another adult Gohan without it feeling like there's, you know what I mean? These two characters aren't one for one copies in any way, shape, or form, but like Super Saiyan Goku, Super Saiyan Blue Goku, and Base Goku all being unique, separate characters. If we were to take Gohan and let him use his feet and use Piccolo based attacks, I think that that would help that another Gohan not feel like we're just doing that again. Um, I really do think that he would be a great addition to the whole thing overall, and a cool, fun. Maybe you could do like a future fighters. I don't know how you would go about doing that, but like some sort of side story where you could involve the future timeline or something, like they did with Shin Budokai. I don't know. Anyway, I think future Gohan would be a great choice, and I hope that they put him in at some point. More than likely, though, I think if they were going to pick a movie character or a specials character, it would probably be Tapion. Tapion's, again, very popular. There's a lot of references to Tapion going on in modern Dragon Ball right now. The Legend of Zelda movie, which Tapion is very clearly heavily borrowing from Link from the Zelda series. That live action Legend of Zelda movie is coming out soon, so this would be a funny wink wink nudge nudge character to throw into the DLC at the time. He could unleash Harudagarn, who's sealed inside of his body, for his level 3 super. He's got the Ocarina, which he could use as his special to block people's attacks. I just see them going for Tapion for their movie character. But I'd love to see him, but I'd also love to be wrong. Who do you think could be up here? Yeah, and having said that, those are my choices. What'd you think? Leave a comment below if you have your own idea for who you'd like to see, or if you like my ideas but maybe have your own riff on them, or maybe you don't like them and you just want to share, hey, those are trash picks. Hey, I love any sort of feedback whatsoever. So thanks for taking the time to come and listen. Hope you all have a great day. Let your family know that you love them. Stay safe out there. Very quickly, got to do my run through. I don't own Dragon Ball, Shueisha, Toei, Shonen Jump, Capsule Corp, any of the related properties. This was purely for fun, fits under fair use, all rights to the actual owners of those things. Anyway, have a great day. Bye.